Hi all, I was speaking with a VP last week and he brought up micro goals. Have you ever heard of them? I got to thinking, I talk a lot about goals and planning, but isn't our normal progression within the industry just that? A bunch of micro goals? From an unloader or general labor position to being trained on the electric rider pallet jack as a runner and on to maybe a receiver or putaway or replenishment forklift driver and then to maybe a position in management. Aren't each of those goals really just micro goals? Now, if you look for definitions for micro goals, about all that you're going to find is something like small goals and steps that leads you to or helps you reach your short-term and long-term goals. I found that a bit odd, as I'm hearing the term more and more often, especially in different coaching groups. I wanted to bring it up today because over the last few weeks, I've heard several testimonials from listeners talking about how they're, recently were promoted and maybe more importantly, why they feel that they were noticed by their employers. You all know how I love advancement stories. So, our first one is kind of off our normal track, I guess, but it's about a great opportunity. A local recruiter was invited to work with a group that offers things like life skills and opportunities for both young candidates entering the workforce, as well as adults interested in changing careers. After the students' classroom studies, which are a great life skills and light industrial positions overview, the students get actual hands-on experience in the warehouse. The recruiter received an overview of the class and left so excited about the new knowledge that he just received. He feels so empowered now to go out and offer the training to others. One of his goals has been to be more involved with and learn more about the warehouse operations. He felt he needed to know more about the positions that he was sending his applicants to fill. His overall goal is much bigger, but this micro goal was a first step towards becoming more of a trainer and, what word am I looking for? A coach for his teams. One more quick story about recruiting and we'll get to a couple of warehouse opportunities and the men and women that answered that knock on the door. I've heard about two long-term recruiters, both women, that accepted the added duties of overseeing the day-to-day operations of their facilities that they used to just recruit for. In both instances, the facility managers had just moved on, and they were asked if they'd like to learn more about the business and take on a few more responsibilities. They both were very excited and accepted the responsibilities and are doing a great job. A first step, or micro goal if you will, towards their goals of running their own regions. Okay, here's one about a young lady from the production world. Without a doubt, she is that employee. Always at least 10 minutes early to work, and she can follow directions to a T. She gets along great with everyone. Now, not that she likes everyone, but you'd never catch her not being consistent across the board with her teammates. Her management team took notice of her positive attitude, her work ethics, and her ability to listen before acting, and promoted her to a lead position. I asked her why she felt like she was given the opportunity, and she shared that by being excited to come to work each day and helping others when, they're down that day or having problems, people seem to feed off of her work ethics. She stated that the workplace is not a place for drama. It is a place for professionalism and self-improvement. I had to ask her to expand on self-improvement. She said since she was hired, she has always tried to learn the position that worked beside hers. Knowing how to do several different things, she could help more people. And she felt it was important to listen to and learn from every one of the leads and supervisors in the plant. She figured they had those positions because they knew more about it than she did. She knew she needed to accept this position in order to advance to the admin tech position that she was after. And I gotta say, all that made sense to me. Another great micro goal towards a much larger goal. So I'm learning that a micro goal is really a step moving towards a planned goal. Kind of off topic for a minute. I know this lady that oversees a very niche business for her boss. She's taking business and accounting courses at night. I asked her why those type of classes. Her answer was she had a plan. She wanted to expand the position that she had, maybe make it much more efficient, a one-woman show. Now, I don't know what all that means, but the classes are a stepping stone, a micro goal to a much bigger one. All right, where was I? Got to find my next bullet point. I heard about a guy that did everything right. He was laid off. He'd been working in the manufacturing industry. He'd worked for 4 years for a small family-owned company. The company had been around for over 30 years, and it just kind of ran its course with the family, I believe. They had closed the doors and given all of their employees a generous severance package. He wanted to take this chance for a fresh start. He decided he wanted to work in the distribution industry. He chose a few companies that were within a 45-minute radius from his home. He knew he wanted the opportunity to work with more of an automated warehouse system, but that still would utilize equipment to move freight as well. He applied at 2 different facilities within his driving distance. One company was seeking a sanitation person, and the other was looking for an inventory control or cycle counter. Both companies made him an offer, and he chose the sanitation job. Now, I asked him why that choice, and he stated he just felt like it would put him in contact with more of the, warehouse position type people that he needed to become a VP. He actually only worked that job for 3 nights, and then he was moved to the truck loader job. 4 weeks later, he was being trained on the electric rider pallet jack to load the bulk trailer loads. He was offered the lead loader job 3 months later. And now 7 months after that, he is mapping the loading of the loads, working closely with the routing department and the transportation supervisors. He's accomplished 5 micro goals and on his way to the next few now. I'm starting to think that micro goals are a mindset, maybe. What do you think? We have time for one more. Let me find a good one here. Here it is. So a girl had a friend that loved her warehouse job. She was an order selector for a parts company, I believe. Anyway, this girl had never done anything other than retail jobs at the mall and a couple of fast food jobs. She found a pallet jack class that was being offered, I think it was through an area high school or maybe a junior college. I guess it could have been a training center or maybe a tech center. Anyway, she passed the course and applied for a position where her friend was working. All they had open at this time was a warehouse utility position. She accepted the job, expressed her wishes to be an order selector to her new boss, and you know what? Within 3 months was being trained as an order selector. Today, she is in the top 10% productivity-wise on her shift. She planned, set a few small or micro goals, and achieved her first-year goal of being an order selector. I wonder where she's headed next. So micro goal may not have an official definition, but I learned that it is a real thing. I think they're those thoughts that we have when we're making our plans for the year. I'm really good at writing down my goals. However, I've realized that I don't always consider those smaller thoughts as goals. Now I know to write them down. They are my micro goals, and they are important to my growth plan each year. Well, I've got to get back to work now myself. I hope we've given you a thought or two to tackle, during the week ahead. Until next week, think, plan, set those goals, and of course, be safe for our friends and family's sake.